a search for new VR games coming out, and I discovered that there are new VR games coming out on Steam every single day. Here are some of the best Steam VR games that have come out in 2024 based on Steam community ratings and reviews. Game number 1 is VAIL VR by AEXLAB. VAIL VR is a super cool multiplayer shooter. They have around 12 maps and have some super unique physics-based weapons. Beyond just the classical deathmatch, capture the flag, and search and destroy, they also have a super insane mode called Scout's Knives. Basically, low-gravity team deathmatch with only snipers, grenades, and knives. You start in the lobby, which has notes around the area teaching you how to play. This is a super convenient way to learn the game, as VR tutorials sometimes take forever. Some tutorials even stretch as long as a half hour to an hour. Thankfully, the developers designed the tutorial to be light so that you can quickly hop into a match. The lobby's filled with mini-games like aim training and target practice. I always enjoy getting to practice because I definitely need it. I also noticed that they have a basketball and hockey minigame, which I thought was kinda random. Quick, if I hit the shot, you have to send this video to a friend. That was awkward. There's also another part of the lobby where you can doodle on a blackboard. But why draw in an FPS game when you came here to dominate the leaderboard and shoot physics-based guns? Before you join a game, you can try out any weapon you want. VAIL has a long list of guns to choose from, as well as gear and scopes to attach. What I found to be the most immersive part is the way you grab each gun differently. You can grab the gun from multiple places, which gives you a lot more control over the recoil. When searching for a match, everyone gets to vote on the game type. One is called Artifact, which is their version of search and destroy. Another is Capture the Orb, a lot like Capture the Flag. And as I mentioned before, one of the most interesting games I've ever played is called Scout's Knives. Your movement is in low gravity, which is super wacky, and you only use snipers and knives, and grenades. The game also has other ways to get around the map, like climbing ladders, vaulting over obstacles, riding zip lines, and gravity jump pads. After each match, you gain experience points, which unlocks new parts of the game, like choosing a custom gun loadout. You can also find a leaderboard that shows your stats. When walking around the lobby, I saw a poster showing skins that they were releasing for the characters. The design of their characters are very different looking compared to any other FPS game, which makes their skins feel unlike the average skins you might be used to seeing in a game like Overwatch. I started noticing a lot of care from the devs in VAIL VR as I continued to explore the lobby. The same board advertising the skins in the home lobby showed the community what their next goals are. This is definitely a fun FPS game, but of very different styles than Breachers, which is another really fun VR FPS. But I can see why VAIL VR gets so much love and attention, as it's a pretty well thought out VR game and it continues to grow and expand. Game number 2 is Underdogs by Hamsa. I do want to preface this game by giving a profanity disclaimer. This game is pretty aggressive when it comes to language, so do please keep that in mind before playing. Underdogs is another fantastic physics-based game focusing on fighting mechs. They also added roguelike elements that's unlike anything I have tried in the past. When launching the game, the music and the art style immediately sets the tone. The music alone is gritty and really placed me into the environment. I was impressed by how well this VR game portrayed a street-like grungy mood, as I've not really seen anything like this before in any other VR game that I've played. You start off by learning a bit about the world as the characters are talking in a comic-like style and set the stage. After that, you get to choose between starting the game or going through the tutorial. It was a rather quick tutorial, taking about 5 to 10 minutes. It largely focused on the controls and the movement needed when using the mech. This was by far the most realistic experience of what I imagine having a mech arm in VR would feel like. Every moment of the tutorial is exciting because of the way the devs made me feel while in the mech. I was also impressed at how that much movement in VR didn't cause me to get motion sick. I am a VR player who usually does struggle with that kind of feeling, and I believe the still UI of the mech is actually what helps ground you in the space, helping with the motion sickness aspect. It helps keep your body grounded in the game despite the fast-paced environment. I love the movement in this game because you can feel the haptic feedback vibrate in your controllers, and these little dust particles also fly up, creating a more immersive experience. Continuing the tutorial, I began swinging my fist into the robot creature, one fist at a time, and I learned how to use both hands to charge forward and bash them away. This game is great for building up a sweat and getting your anger out. It felt very much like boxing, but as a giant mech. This game mentions having over 120 items, including ways to use power tools and customize your mech, which I am super excited to try. And they also mentioned getting to meet over 30 characters. The character art is pretty cool, so meeting more characters will be something to look forward to. The main objective of this game is to survive in this grungy dark world while engaging in the fun roguelike pieces of the game. This was by far one of the most intriguing moods I've ever felt in VR. This game did such a fantastic job at creating that successful mech-like feeling in VR. If you're a mech lover, this is a must-add to your list. Game number 3 is VR Skater by Deficit Games. VR skateboarding games are notoriously difficult to pull off, but VR Skater is definitely worth putting on this list. I longboard in real life, so I have a lot of experience of what the motions and dynamics should feel like. At first, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to feel about a VR skating game with my struggle with movement and motion sickness in VR. However, this game quickly proved to me that it wasn't going to make me sick, and it was also a really fun game. You start by getting to choose your riding style. I ride Goofy, which I knew because that's how I ride my longboard, and after that, the game gives you a quick beginner's tutorial. I was super eager to see how they designed the controls for a VR skateboarding game. You can use the controls to navigate the classical skateboarding tricks like ollies, shove-it tricks, grinding, and tons more that I don't fully know about because, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a longboarder. Shout out to my longboard squad out there. Tricks earn you points and XP, leading to different kinds of rewards like medals and trophies. Kinda cool because I don't see myself entering a skateboarding competition in real life anytime soon, or probably ever. My favorite part about this game is where you get to customize your board. Picking out cool deck art is legit the reason I got into longboarding in real life. If you enjoy skating in the real world, you've got to try skating in the VR world. Game number 4 is Toy Trains by Something Random. Going into Toy Trains, I wasn't really sure how it was going to turn out. I expected it to be really boring, and I was wondering who was leaving good reviews on Steam. But Toy Trains turns out to be a really cute and cozy game. It's a puzzle-solving game with 10 levels of gameplay. I never played with trains in real life before, but this game captivated my attention. My eyes were glued to the screen, or I guess my head was glued to the VR headset. For the first level, your goal is to use the train tracks provided in the catalog to connect the houses to the town hall. The attention to detail and VR haptic feedback is incredible. Everything you pick up and connect has feedback in the controller, making this game as immersive as I imagine a toy train game could be. There is also a cute little story tied in where your in-game parents have gone on vacation and you are home with your grandparents playing with the toy train. It's kind of cool how they build in the tutorial NPC to be like an echo of your imagination. Because I don't know about you, but when I was a kid playing with toys, I always had this grandiose feeling like there was a bigger world to explore or kind of making up these little stories in your head. And this just doesn't seem to happen that much when you're an adult. It kind of fades away as you grow older. Toy Trains really gives back that sense of wonder and imagination that you had when you were a kid. The game is also quite challenging as I literally spent almost an hour on level 2 trying to wrap my brain around solving the last puzzle of that level. Unlock new tracks with each level as the puzzles grow in complexity. One of my favorite aspects about this game is how the environment is immersive and interactive. You can brush your hand over the trees, which even moves the shadows around, and splash your hands in the water for a satisfying feeling and sound. This cute train game pulls you in and keeps you occupied yet satisfied. If you're a puzzle lover and a VR lover, this game is unforgettable. Game number 5 is Retropolis 2 Never Say Goodbye by Peanut Button. Retropolis 2 Never Say Goodbye is a first-person adventure mystery puzzle solving game. I've not played the first game, but the second game catches you up by giving you a bit of an overview of what the current situation is. This game is a stylized post-apocalyptic story that places you in a world with robots. I absolutely love the art style. This game is episodic, starting you off in Detective Philip Logg's apartment. You get to play as Philip Logg and solve the mysteries around his love interest, Jenny Montage, who has disappeared. You learn immediately that she has a sapphire charm in her chest, which is a valuable, powerful item that keeps her life force up and running. The game then talks about the magician, who seems to be the main antagonist. After learning about Jenny's gem, you quickly realize the magician may be after this powerful gem. This game is fun and interactive. I enjoy clicking things around the map because it has a narrative style where Philip speaks dialogue to tell you more about your world. When you want to learn about an item or a piece of the environment, the robot arm will spring forward, grabbing things and bringing them to you, which I think is a rather clever mechanic to have in a VR game where you don't move your character around a lot. Sitting at the bar as a robot felt incredibly immersive. I felt like I was right in the middle of this ongoing mystery. This game kept me laughing at all the little inside jokes in deeper world development. Retropolis 2 is a game I'm excited to continue playing and learn more about their mysteries. Which games are you most excited to try? Or is there a game that came out on Steam VR in 2024 that you think we missed? Make sure to leave a comment below letting me know. And by leaving a comment to answer one of these questions, you also gain a chance at winning a $20 Steam gift card. Want to learn about even more VR games you can add to your list? Check out this video next.